It's a party, everybody. Am I dressed like it's a party? I guess it's kind of inappropriately dressed like a party. I don't know how to dress in these videos. So all the biggest social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, are all taking turns being in the news at the start of 2018 about their propensity to change the way we all think, to influence people's minds. Facebook is catching heat for its data leakage scandal and the political implications that has. YouTube has been catching heat for extremism. A former YouTube engineer said the algorithm unintentionally rewards more and more extreme content and behavior. Twitter's in this constant battle of how do we define negative behavior, how do we proactively reduce that. So I'm going to zoom the camera out on this. You see this live from Chocolate Rain, because I think there are a couple larger points that might not occur to people who are partaking in this conversation. My first point is that when social media companies are accused of meddling in how we think, meddling in how we talk to each other, this is necessarily true. Every media company throughout the history of media, whether it's newspapers, billboards, television, radio, all of these companies make money by charging customers who want to meddle with how human beings think. The rhetoric, the language of anything meddling in how society thinks or how we relate to each other has an inherently sinister tone. We naturally think, oh gosh, that's bad. Mind control is bad. Freedom is good. Thought control is bad. Given the very dark and Orwellian cultural sensitivity to the idea of thought control, we need to understand and accept that charging money to control thought is the basis of every media business. Lighter terms for changing human thought are marketing and advertising. And of course, the more sinister term when it's tied to the exercise of state or institutional power is propaganda. And this line between advertising and marketing, which is considered perfectly innocent, hey, you want me to buy a pound cake? Yes, I like pound cake. I enjoy pound cake. Versus propaganda, oh, you want me to religiously worship the pound cake? You want me to pay taxes to the pound cake? You want me to give up my freedoms to the pound cake? You want me to not be free to express ideas which are contrary to the consumption of pound cake? That slippage between innocent advertising and propaganda that may be detrimental to civilization is a very slippery and gray area, especially in social media. That relates to my second point, which is that marketing and advertising on social media has no independent audit. That means that nobody who is independent of the private social media company, meaning who does not work for them, nobody can independently review what an advertisement is doing, how many people it is reaching, how it is affecting their engagement, how it affects their behavior. This is the big difference between social media and what's called traditional media as we knew it up until the internet. With traditional media, film, television, radio, and newspapers, if you buy a billboard along a busy road and you want to stand and count how many cars are driving by and how many pedestrians are standing by, and if you want to survey them and see what their ages are and collect other information, you can do that independent of the company that is selling you the billboard space. Same thing if you buy an ad on TV, if you buy an ad on the radio. Yes, you have Nielsen ratings and other similar companies, but you can independently audit how that ad is performing, who it is reaching. Because there is no independent audit on social media, unlike traditional media, advertisers have to take Facebook's word for it, YouTube's word for it, Twitter's word for it, when it comes to how many people are reached by their advertisements and what kinds of people are reached in what way. Social media platforms are private, closed media markets. And so my final point is that the larger debate here is really a question of how do we enforce public ethics on private closed media markets. With traditional media, because it was consumed publicly, enforcing public ethics was never as big of a challenge. If you put a billboard up on the side of the highway, everybody sees it, and so there is a community experience, and thus community ethics become a big part of the natural enforcement of that type of content. Because social media advertising is experienced both massively and individually, there is no organic system of checks and balances whereby the public can have input in the ethics of advertising practices on social media platforms. I honestly don't know what the solution to this impasse is. Private companies and private media markets will invariably fight public oversight and public regulation tooth and nail. It's in their business interest to fight public oversight. It is also a competitive necessity because obviously Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube do not want the other to know how they are designing their systems of targeting advertising, collecting user data. These closed media markets and how their algorithms think are valuable trade secrets. Any public oversight would endanger exposing those types of trade secrets. And yet the public in 2018 is becoming very, very agitated about the ethics of these private closed media markets. Whether ethical mistakes by YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or any other social media platform are deliberate or accidental, there simply is no public oversight. So sit back and grab your popcorn, because it'll be very interesting to see how humanity addresses this problem of public ethics and reconciling them with private media. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a fantastic day. And if today is not fantastic, I hope the sun comes out tomorrow.